Staying on our focus of President Bola Tinubu's economic agenda, that's 8-point agenda that is, and its implication for the economy. Well, earlier today I spoke with an economist and the Chief Executive Officer of B. Adedipe and Associates, Dr. Adedipe. I started by asking him how this administration can make a difference in creating a better atmosphere for businesses to thrive.
Those micro and small-scale enterprises are at what we call the bottom of the pyramid. And already there are existing structures in the financial system that the government can actually, use in order to deliver this to them. But bear in mind also, as already mentioned, three important things there. Number one is that the fund is available, it's been announced. We call that the announcement effect. Then the other one is to actually do it, which means it is not only available, but it's accessible and, of course, ultimately affordable. We call that democratizing capital for those at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, that will make me recommend very strongly that the government should engage the microfinance banks because they relate with people at that level in their millions. And so it's the quickest existing structure that the government can use to deliver this particular intervention.
All right, Dr. Adedipe, we have a coordinating minister of the economy. What should be the strategy to handle agencies with targets to raise revenue and plans to reduce taxes and, of course, duties, even as this administration aims to expedite access to single-digit loans for small businesses, as it were?
Well, essentially, what I will recommend here is we need to depart from the orthodox monetary, what I call the monetarist approach to economic management. And that means we cannot follow either the Western model or the East Asian model. We should look at what works for us. And now we go in the manner of asking ourselves what needs to change. If we truly want to encourage domestic manufacturing, then the tariff structure should be designed in such a way that if you import finished products that are produced locally, the duty on that should be so high. In fact, in the language of international trade, we call it punitive import duty. Then, of course, for the inputs, raw materials, if they are imported, then the tariff on those items should be as low as possible. That is what I might call a textbook approach. Okay, but it makes a whole lot of sense. That is something we need to take seriously. Now, beyond domestic manufacturing, we want to strengthen, which, of course, will result in job creation. There's also the other aspect of can we also strengthen manufacturing towards export? And in that one, we advise that we focus on Africa. Now, if there are opportunities for up to $3.4 trillion, regional trade within Africa, the question should be, how do we take advantage of that based on what these other African countries import? Can we begin to put incentives in those that manufacture such items so that they can compete effectively with the countries from where those other African countries import them? That is very, very important. It also connects to job creation because the challenge of Nigeria is that we'll be growing our economy, yes, they're not fast enough on the one hand, they're not also growing it inclusively and also in a sustained and sustainable manner.
How confident are you that Nigeria under this administration can perhaps begin to look inward?
Yeah, one important thing here is that government should provide leadership in terms of consuming what we produce in Nigeria. Now, the previous administration actually introduced that, but not as deep as some of us advocates want it to be. And that means we have a policy that is structured in such a way that over the next 10 years, year after year, the government will increase the percentage of its approved budget that it will deliberately commit to buy things that are made in Nigeria. So if government is going to buy vehicles, that's where we start from. We buy vehicles that are assembled in Nigeria. And of course, the quality is not the issue at the first instance. And that's the history of automobile all over the world. But Nigeria wants top quality today. And of course, we disregard the ones we produce here. And the real thing is that if we patronize what is produced here, we create opportunity for those producers to enhance the quality over time. Then also, I believe very strongly, as the tax reform committee had said, that they really don't need to introduce new taxes, but rather work very hard to bring those who are outside the tax basket to come into the basket.
So what are expectations really from this administration in handling borrowings and debt servicing going forward? Quickly.
Well, what they need to do there, in my estimation, is that there are a lot of leakages, and they're already in the direction that I want to recommend. And that is most of the state-owned enterprises that are revenue generating, bring everything into the same, pillar, and that is Federal Inland Revenue Service. If we do that, then the leakages that happen with those SOEs, we can actually avoid them and deepen what the government generates as revenue. Once you increase revenue, it's simply an equation, a numerator, a denominator. Once you increase the revenue, the denominator expands. And so what we look at the ratio in terms of debt servicing, repayment, body will improve significantly. And that is the direction I want to encourage the government to go.
Dr. Adedipe, we thank you so much for your thoughts on the news at 10. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you for having me.